sweat and toil, all this sweat and toil for nothing, nothing. All this blood and treasure, all this blood and treasure for nothing. Sit back and wait for that inevitable day of betrayal. Didn't I ask you in the nicest of ways? Please keep your imp in a cage. You are the solution to my very being. Does the world have to take everything? All this sweat and toil, all this sweat and toil for nothing. All this blood and treasure, all this blood and treasure for nothing. I sit back and wait for that inevitable day of betrayal. Didn't I ask you in the nicest of ways? Please keep your imp in a cage. You are the solution to my very being. Does the world have to take everything? Welcome and congratulations. You have chosen the apocalypse. You have also chosen the beast and falsus propheta. Well done. Now, since your world will soon be ruin and ash and a den of Satan, you are in need of a guide urgently. For the rubes don't seem to be able to handle it themselves, unfortunately. Psychologically superior, you say? Does this seem psychologically superior to you? Obviously, to 40% of America, they identify with this. They are just like him. But let me ask this question again. Does this entity, this monstrosity that dares leave his house each morning in orange face, does this entity seem psychologically superior to you? If the answer is yes, then you need to reevaluate your entire existence in this realm. Yes, psychologically superior. That phrase was used when the initial plane crash happened. The first one, not the second one. So you're sure about which one we're talking about? Yes, the initial plane crash. Did Donald walk into the press conference cordially and solemnly and, do the normal thing any human would do, whether be they evil, good, sociopath, psychopath, whatever you want to label them, the normal thing where you just come up to the podium and say, this is a tragic loss of life. We are going to investigate. We'll get to the bottom of it, and we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again. So simple. I'm not even president. I didn't even go to Wharton School of Business, and I know how to deliver those remarks. I'm just a high school graduate. So yes, you're beast that you've chosen because you're just like him. Honestly, at this point, there's no excuse for you. Your beast came in there and decided, I'm going to politicize this whole thing. I'm going to make it about DEI, even though the two pilots were white. That's what I heard. But he was really pointing the finger at air traffic control. The people that Leon just fucked with because they fined him because of his shitty rockets that go nowhere. And I really wonder what the real agenda with the rockets is all the time. Is Leon involved in anything decent and good? No. Zero. He's Baphomet's little bitch. That's all he is. And the man gonna have a talk with him. Don't worry. Because this is all going one place, people. Be ye rube, regular citizen, patriot, whatever you want to fucking call yourself. This is going one place. It's called a lake. But it's not the normal lake. It's a lake of fire that no one's going to want to be in. That's where this ends up. For those two beasts, whether you believe me, believe what I'm saying they are, or what you're seeing, or if you're cheering it on, man, doesn't matter. We can debate all night, doesn't matter. They can do the grandest evil since the beginning of time. It doesn't fucking matter, son. Because me and my people are going to be the last ones standing. When the man comes around, do you hear me? I don't think you do. I don't think people get the gravity of this. They abouts to, though. And guess where your two heroes end up, son? In the lake, in repose. Forever. So have your fun now. Clap for it. Cheer for it. As you know, within your even lowly intellectual soul, even you know this is wrong. Yet you still running with it. Because it's your team. It's the Buffalo Bills. You have to, right? Oh, that's a bad decision. But I know everyone out there is wise. I know. I see you all walking around. I see how wise you are. One more time. Does that seem psychologically superior to you? Anyway, let me get back to what I'm saying. So Donnie comes out. Yeah, if we were in charge of the hiring, the FAA and all that, we'd be putting psychologically superior people out there. What does that mean, son? I know what that means. That's a white supremacist dog whistle right there. Psychologically superior. Because they can't just come out and say racially superior like they fucking want to. What is it with all you punk-ass Nazi bitches? Try goose stepping down a regular street full of citizens without police there to protect you, son. Try doing that Sieg Heil bullshit out in public if you a man. If you serious about it, if you really believe in it, and it's so motherfucking wonderful, come out in public with that bullshit around your fellow citizens. See what fucking happens to you. If it's such a great thing, if you so proud, if you just love doing it with your chest out, then why don't you just do it? What's with the dog whistles? Just say what you is, right? It's so great. I see everyone lining up to join up. Why you gots to hide it? I ain't hiding what I believe, son. Why you is? After you throw up a fucking Sieg Heil. What's the problem? You proud in front of the crowd? You beluga-shaped motherfucker? You daddy's boy, soft-ass bitch? Be proud the next morning when you wake up and the ecstasy and ketamine wore off. And you don't need your mommy out there threatening to sue people. You threw it up, son. Be a man about it the next day. Don't be a punk-ass bitch. Threaten to sue people. Because the night you did it, son, and the day the priest did it, you was all proud, slapping it all hard and shit. Where you at now, bitch? Hiding in a corner, trying to pretend like you didn't do it. But we all saw it, son, and you can't 1984 that away. And you can't 1984 that motherfucking lake away, son. You going right in. And we all gonna be standing there watching it. It's gonna be fucking great. Maybe I'll roast a motherfucking marshmallow or something. So yes, Donnie couldn't even be human and had to come out and utter blasphemies like he's supposed to do for 1,000 some days, every day, all day. And boy, is Donnie fulfilling that. Can't just come out like a normal human being. Even the press was horrified. Even they starting to see, what is this? This is different. You all starting to see it, ain't you? This is different. You can feel it down to your bones. I see all of you walking around. I see you talking about it. I know. That's what I've been trying to warn you about for 8 fucking years. That feeling you got right now. I had that back in 2015. Before any of you people had any fucking clue where all this was going to go. It's going to the lake. Don't follow them there. Dead serious. This is an entertainment for me. And again, I don't want to know you. I don't want to debate you. I'm trying to help you see that you may save yourself and turn at least to the right path and not take that gift they're going to give you. Don't waste time debating me. Don't waste time arguing, because it's going to happen fast, son. You haven't been paying attention? Let's continue. So Trump is distracting us from the fact that he did not appoint a new FAA administrator until today. The former FAA administrator was pressured to step down when Trump took office because Leon didn't want him to keep going after SpaceX.
Oh, this is Al Franken. I love Al Franken. This is disgraceful, he opens up with. And I'll just leave that there. And yes, what all this is about, the reason why 70 people died and the reason why more are going to die is because Leon got pissed because the FAA fined him because of his SpaceX bullshit, his rockets to nowhere, and God knows what real agenda's going on with that. I don't even want to fucking know. It doesn't matter, again, because it all ends up in the lake anyway, Leon. Sorry to tell you. But you know this, hence the urgency. You and Donnie know it. I know that. Enjoy your little party. I hope it was worth it. And let's see if Baphomet is there to save you at the edge of the lake. Let's see how tough he is, or it is. I can't wait. Okay, and when the news conference ended after 36 minutes, the reporters, some with dazed expressions, yes, because they don't know what a beast is. They never seen one before, and they didn't seek the wisdom to recognize it when it came. And all you teachers out there that do recognize it right now, and you keeping your mouth shut, ooh, I would not want to be you, son, when the man comes around. Because he's going to say to you, you studied all this. I gave you this wisdom. I put it in front of you. I allowed you. I deciphered it for you. So when the day came, you as the shepherd could warn the flock. What did you do? You stayed silent, despite me putting you out there as a watchman for the signs. Yet you kept them to yourself. Oof, I would not want to be you, man. As I navigated the crowd, I caught a glimpse of a fellow journalist's phone and the text message he had just sent. WTF. That was the text message. Even the press was horrified. And they motherfucking vultures. They'd sell out their grandma for a story. And they was horrified by what they saw and heard. Psychologically superior, blames the whole incident on DEI, for fuck's sake, as 70 people are dead. What a fucking abominable beast you have wrought, you have given us, you have endorsed, you have put your name on. I suggest you turn from him, even if you're just like him, which it seems you are. I would turn if I were you. This is not going to a good place. And if that press conference didn't show you that, if you were cool with that press conference, blaming the death of 70 people on DEI with zero fucking evidence of that, when him and Leon just fucked over the FAA a few days earlier, because Leon got fined and he mad. What the fuck, the press said. They were horrified. Okay, this is Donnie on trade. Actually, I wanted to start way back here. Let's go back. My bad. Let's save the rest of that. Because I have a lot of stuff here and I almost skipped half of it. Hold on, I'm almost there. So many things the past 2 days. It's ridiculous, the pace of this. I knew I was missing some context. Okay, let's begin over with this. Trump has moved to fire Democratic members of 2 independent federal commissions, an extraordinary break from decades of legal precedent that promises to hand Republicans control over boards that oversee swaths of the U.S. workers, employers, and labor unions. Labor unions. And they came for the trade unionists. And I did nothing. I said nothing. I'm paraphrasing. And eventually they came to me and there was no one left. Or came for me. That's a dictatorship. Certain groups sit by as other groups get targeted until eventually it comes knocking on your door. The rube that put their name on it, that thought they was exempt. You isn't. You're not gonna be. Never. So yes, they came for the trade unionists. That's about to happen. FAA chief quit on January 20 after Elon Musk told him to resign. Are you happy with your South African oligarch, Satanist, globalist, as you would call him, that you happily put your name on after 40 years of warning people on Facebook that the liberals were going to usher in some satanic, globalist, cashless society? No, that was you, son, as you spouted Vlad's talking points like a good little useful fucking idiot. That was you, son. You ushered it in. Mr. Christian, Mr. MAGA patriot, that satanic globalist agenda, and those are your words, son, not mine. Cabal of elites. You put your name on that. You made it happen. You cheer it on. You clap for it. The irony of that. So yes, Leon fucked with the FAA chief. Probably told him, yeah, we're going to make your life miserable unless you quit, because, you know, you find me 600 whatever million. That's where we at. A South African daddy's boy, bloated asshole, douchebag, fucking with heads of agencies, very important ones like the FAA, on a whim. That's your country now. Thuggery shall reign. You put your name on that. Hope it don't come to your doorstep. Don't worry, it will. It always does. But you wouldn't know that because you don't study history if it ain't on Sunday football or whatever bullshit, Honey Boo Boo, whatever the fuck you watch. WWF. If it ain't on there, you don't know it. That's why you're going to lose your country and you're going to lose a lot more, son. But I know. All the big, strong men out there, they think they wise. All the pretty ladies out there, they think they wise. I don't see a damn one, son. Not a damn one. Here's Donnie on his money laundering operation. The airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. How does Donnie know that? The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. That's in caps. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter, hey, why? Maybe we could ask the head of the FAA. Oh, that's right. Bitch-ass Leon scum forced him to resign. Oh, shit. We can't ask him, can we? But Donnie Shitbags is here to give us all the answers. Another daddy's boy who inherited 400 million. Fat as hell, orange as hell, and shits his pants. And comes out his house in orange face every day. Such an enviable figure. But I know, you saw him on The Apprentice where he'd go in between shit breaks, in between diaper changes, and stinking up the fucking set. Ask Noel Kassler. He would say, he would go, you're fired. Can I trademark that? I can trademark that. Can I? No one else can use that phrase without paying me, right? And you all thought that was cool. How sad for you. Your life must be so fucking empty. Truly. And you gave your country away for nothing. Handed it over to Vlad, Donnie, Leon, Thale, etc. Look what they doing to it. It's been 2 fucking weeks. Buckle up, man. If you think this shit's bad, wait till you sees the real shit. that's coming. You rubes are going to love it. And you made it happen, so pat yourself on the back, son. This is Sean Duffy, and I didn't know who the fuck he was till 2 days ago, nor do I give a fuck. Because none of these cretins impress me. Obviously, it is not standard to have aircraft collide. Well, thanks, Sean. We were really hoping that was policy. You know how much money this cunt is being paid of your tax money to say that? Sean Duffy, our new Secretary of Transportation in the new awful administration. Oh, you mean the Nazi regime? Literally? That's not even an exaggeration. And here's a good example of it. This guy's all down. Calvin Robinson's license revoked by the Anglican Catholic Church over political actions. No, over a Sieg Heil. And they say in this description of why they fired him, the Anglican Church, they mentioned that he's been politically active on social media before, and they warned him not to be. So after that warning from the church that he works for, that he's a representative for, he decided he's going to talk MAGA up. Even though I don't even think he's American, I think he's probably British or something. I don't know. Because I don't know where this event took place, nor do I give a fuck. Because that's not the point here. He thought it was cool after those warnings, being a priest and everything, getting up there and pretending he didn't do a Sieg Heil as he was doing a Sieg Heil, just like Leon, the same exact thing. And that this was all wonderful. But instead he used some phrase to cover it up, like I love you or something as he was doing it, which told me he was doing a Sieg Heil intentionally and calling it something else intentionally, just like Leon did the next morning when he woke up from his ketamine and ecstasy high. Again, a priest did a Sieg Heil in front of a crowd and said America is defending Christianity, and America is about life right now. They're the only ones protecting it. Oh, son, you are in for such a rude awakening. You specifically, one who's allegedly read the word, right? But you didn't hear none of it. You didn't take in none of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be part of a white supremacist movement, and you ain't even full white, son. As a representative of God, I gave warnings about people not even just telling the truth. This representative of God got up and threw up a Heil Hitler. The abomination that was, and there's going to be plenty more. All these cretins are going to come out the woodwork now that they've been emboldened by their daddy. Again, look at all that's happened just since he won the election. Certain people took that as the go-ahead. When Leon did his little Sieg Heil, then all of a sudden people on video started doing. It's like, it's okay now. Leon did it. We can do it now. Donnie did it. I don't have to hide anymore. Except when someone writes a letter to my job or something that they saw me at a Nazi rally or, doing Nazi stuff. Then all of a sudden I'm not a Nazi no more. I wonder if Calvin's still a Nazi. Because he didn't even admit he was a Nazi as he was doing a Sieg Heil. Again, if you're going to pay tribute to Hitler's son and the movement, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just admit what you're doing? Why are you all so scared? What's wrong? Why do you guys wear masks and stuff? Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, all these people, when they do these little jaunts through people's town, if you're so proud of it, what you need a mask for, son? And that applies to so many of you online that I've known through the years. If you're so proud of what you're doing, why you gotta hide? Same principle here. If you're proud of the Sieg Heil, why are you lying about it? If you're proud of the movement, if you're proud of the ideology, why are you lying about it? Why are you hiding? It's all good stuff, right? Goose stepping and Sieg Heils and white supremacy. And half the people involved in it ain't even full white. The irony. So again, the next day, praise Jesus. It's nice to see some organization take something serious. Well, they took the Heil Hitler serious. And they basically write here, I'm not going to read it all because I don't have time. They basically write here that he's been warned before, and this thing he did the other day can be construed as a Heil Hitler or Nazi salute. If I was the church leader, I would have said, he did a Nazi salute. We don't endorse that. He's gone. That would have been my letter. So the next day, what's his name? Calvin, the jerk off. Calvin Robinson, gone the next day, loses his license to preach for the Anglican Church. But guess what church he's preaching for now, I'm sure. I'm sure he moved the grift right over to MAGA. I'm your MAGA pastor now, guys. Look what the evil Anglican Church I used to work for did to me. After I threw up that Sieg Heil for you. Send me money. I'll be your pastor now, MAGA. I guarantee, I don't even need to look into it. I guarantee that's where it's going. Let's be honest. And you rubes will throw your money at him because you're just like him. This person, I'm frankly afraid to fly now. It's unheard of and dangerous to fly without TSA and FAA protection or all the people Trump fired on his first day. Damn right, son. I know one place I ain't's gonna be. On a motherfucking plane right now. You can go on one if you want to. You ain't gonna see Nikki there. Nope. No fucking way. It ain't even an option at this point. We've had two go down. And, you know, Leon had to fuck with... Again, it's a revenge tour. They find Leon. Oh, okay, I'll dismantle your whole agency because I'm the richest man in the world. And the Rubes just gave me their country. For couch cushion money, I just had to buy Donnie, and he's cheap. He didn't even cost me $1 billion. And I got like 350 billion now. Leon Scum's mom urges him to sue media over salute coverage. Again, the Scums. I have to talk to the Scums specifically. Your whole family line. The current iteration, Leon. The former, his mother and father. The former, the grandparents. Again, you're all Nazis. What you afraid of? Why you gotta hide it? Why you got to talk about lawsuits when your idiot son throws up a Sieg Heil in front of the whole world because he got a little hype on Satan, ketamine, and ecstasy? Well, I don't understand. Why hide it? You guys are Nazis. Everyone knows it. You've been Nazis for, what, 3 generations now? And Elon's all about, you know, like IVF children and all this, building a compound for his mistresses and children. Doesn't sound like Nazi-esque at all, right? So this woman right here, I believe her name's May or something. That's Leon's mom. And I don't know if you remember a movie where a woman gets married and the husband takes her to the family home and they're just ridiculously fucking rich. And she plays a part in the movie. She plays the aunt who had already sacrificed her husband years earlier to the family game, because the family only had money because they made a deal with some, satanic entity back in the day, like the grandfather of the fucking family. So whenever anyone got married, or once every so many years, I forget, they had to play this game where the new addition to the family, the person marrying in, would have to play a game with the family. And one of the possible outcomes of the game was hide and seek, where you hide and the whole family tries to find you and kill you, in tribute to this satanic entity that gave them their riches. If they don't do this, the whole family dies, they lose everything. So they have to do this. She played the anthem, one of the most evil character in the film. And I wondered when I saw it who that woman was playing it, because I had no fucking clue who Leon Scum's fucking mother was, nor did I care. It was before he bought Twitter I saw this movie, so I didn't give a fuck about Leon Scum or Tesla or any of it. So I'm watching this woman in the film and I'm like, wow, she's astoundingly evil. Comes off really genuine and real too. Why? Because that's her real life, son. Being part of evil, when she can get out there and say things like, you should sue over that Nazi salute stuff. Your son did it. What's the problem here, Nazis? You don't want to admit you're Nazis? I don't blame you. Because if you did in public, it wouldn't go well for you, and you all know it. So, you have to turn the public, you have to subjugate the public now. You and Satan. Again, enjoy it while it lasts, because you're all going to the lake. And I'm going to pull up a little beach chair. Cook up a few steaks or something. It's going to be great. A teenager from my home state, Massachusetts, gets in an argument with her brother over a cell phone. Neighbors call the police. Police show up. They call ICE. You see, the family came here from Nicaragua 2 years ago. They have completed asylum paperwork and have been waiting. The teen works and has working papers. Despite the asylum paperwork being complete, despite having working papers, the teen is waking up in a Maine jail. This was never about getting violent criminals off the street. This is always about making America white again. And yes, that's literally what it is. And it's not just about that, because here's someone with some biblical training, not like the normal motherfuckers. I'm a free agent. No agency owns me. I work for one person. He's called the man. But he don't live down here in this mire. He lives up there. So it's not just about making America white. That's just a facade that Satan has attached himself to in the modern era. The British Empire, Nazi Germany, now, here, America. That's what I'm talking about. So it's really about him making a new entity in his image, the same way God made man in his. This is Satan's big moment, the beast's big moment, Donnie, the false prophet's big moment, Leon. They're trying to get their you-know-what off. It's a big finale. His big moment. Because he doesn't have a lot of time, people. All three of them. And that's the stuff none of these types of people know. And that doesn't make me better than them in any way, shape, or form. It makes me more burdened than them, actually. Because in 2015, when I got on camera and started saying this, do you think anyone wants to go on camera when they're led to, or because of what they know, and say things like, this person's the Antichrist? I'm worried about that. Why is there this cult thing forming? Why is this white supremacist, white nationalist movement, and none of it's about Christianity? It's about an orange bloated diaper wearing con man who somehow keeps slipping and sliding through any responsibility for any of his crimes ever. Almost as if he has someone's hand on his shoulder, someone's blessing, if you will, the person that's in charge of this earthly realm, only because someone allows it for now. So that's what's going on as well. But yes, they are indeed trying to make America white again. That's the facade that Satan hides behind. Again, Latin people in this country, a lot of you voted for this. I don't know. Again, maybe you thought it was cool or something. But again, when a bloated orange con man with a diaper on talks shit on all you people for 8 years, says he's going to round you up, ship you back, guys like me get on camera and say, hey, even if you look Latin, you might get rounded up. That's how roundups work, guys. I even say it to a dude on camera on a live stream on this fucking website 10 months ago before they shut me down for the millionth time. And look at it happening over and over again. This is the third or fourth story I've read you, where someone who's a citizen is getting harassed by ICE or taken even. And I explained, once the mob grabs you, the guys with the sticks and guns, and they beat the fuck out of you and they take you to the camp or wherever you're going, it's kind of too late to then pull, get your mommy or your wife or someone to bring your papers down to the gulag. You know what I mean? After you've gotten your ass beat. But that's what you people voted for. A lot of you, a good percentage of Latin people, like it's just astounding to me. Your own demise. Again, this isn't a team sport, people. When you vote on a politician or you vote for policy, it could be the end of your country or your life even, or your freedom. Remember the guy I talked about the other day whose wife got deported? He's begging on social media now after he voted Donnie. Sorry, there's no one left to help you now. All the guardrails have been removed. Are you fucking people happy? Oh, this was Joe Rogan. Kamala Harris wanted to go on Joe Rogan. And, Joe pretends to be fair and impartial and that he doesn't take Russian money. Because he just blew up overnight out of nowhere. And all he was like a half-ass like commentator and comedian or host. I mean, no talent. His interviews are fucking horrible. They always were. I never was into him. I'm like, how did this half-ass comedian all of a sudden have this podcast worth millions? How the fuck did that happen? Oh, I think we all know how it happened. The same way Tim Pool blew up. The same way so many of these fake ass, inorganic movements and commentators come about. We all know where the money came from. Russia. So that's my philosophy or my theory on Joe. So here's kind of the interaction between Kamala's people and Joe Rogan. It's really short, and it'll just give you a sense of what happened here. We could do Friday the 25th, Flaherty said. Wish we had known about this sooner because he has the 25th blocked out as a personal day, one of Rogan's reps said. So Kamala wanted to do the 25th of whatever month. And Rogan's, you know what? It looks like Joe has a personal day penciled in for that day. Can we do a different day? What about Saturday morning? Only if it's before 8:30. The tone is different, Flaherty thought. The vice president of the United States is offering to come on your fucking show, and you keep putting up more hoops. Harris's team still wanted to make it work, but a new wariness set in. They're describing the conversation. On October 22nd, the same day the Harris camp announced the rally, the Associated Press reported that Trump would be Rogan's guest on Friday, the personal day Rogan had originally reserved. So Kamala wanted to come on a certain day. Rogan's, oh, you know what? He can't do it. He's got a personal day penciled in here. Personal day comes. Guess who's on the show? Donnie. Probably because Joe took some Russian money. Because he really didn't have any talent. And all of a sudden he's got this major podcast as an interviewer. And he's the worst fucking interviewer ever. So that tells me something. That this is about something else. And Joe just proved it, son. One more time, you know my philosophy on Joe Rogan. If he's talking about MMA, I'm willing to listen because he's an expert on that. Anything else, I don't even want to hear his fucking name. And it turns out from the pictures I'm seeing him in, from this little bullshit, it sounds like he has a certain agenda that somebody might throw him a few fazools, you know what I mean? Mobsters out there. I have a feeling. Because he wasn't funny. It was half-ass comedy shows he was doing. And he can't interview for shit. 5 minutes into his speech about a tragedy on the Potomac, Trump blames Obama and Biden. I put safety first. Obama and Biden put politics first. Ooh, their policy was horrible and their politics were even worse. You know where Donnie's going with this? Again, this is the press conference about the plane. We're back on that subject. Donnie was going to the DEI place. Well, Biden has a different philosophy on hiring. We would have hired, what was the word he used? Psychologically superior people, and we know what that means. So abominable. When I saw that press and I heard him say psychologically superior, I cringed. I thought, look at that beast. Just all riled up with that spirit inside him. He's not even fucking human anymore. Wow, stripper turned congresswoman Luna is threatening world leaders to obey or else. This is what a Nazi bitch looks like. Well, kinda. Maybe a turncoat. Because the real Nazis, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, they would put Miss Luna in a camp. That's where they'd put her if they had their way. But she's serving a purpose now, and the geriatrics think she's really pretty. You know, they think Bobo's pretty. They think Mason Gnome and this bitch is pretty. None of them is. None of them. Not a damn one. But the geriatrics don't agree with me. They like a certain type of woman. Palin, shit like that. That kind of hillbilly, inbred or turncoat type shit. They find those women very attractive. I don't personally, but that's just me. So Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, my message to foreign leaders, the turncoat on her own people, because she's part of MAGA, so that's a straight up turncoat, part of a white supremacist movement. She's aiding that, getting Latin people to take that movement seriously, because Miss Luna's part of it, getting geriatric Latin people to take that movie seriously, men specifically, because they think she's pretty. My message to foreign leaders: you either work with the United States or face the full weight of our power. You don't want to be on the wrong side of history. Act wisely. No, Miss Luna, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history, but that's way too late for you. Again, here's another person with no power. They're just a congressman, but they part of MAGA and they hype on that evil right now. Just like Eric Trump was, and stupid people like Miss Luna and Eric Trump. and others. They're just throwing these threats out there because they feel emboldened. But they throwing these threats out without permission, without the beast or Donnie's permission, because they so hype on that evil. Remember Eric Trump, the moron, the mongoloid? We will do so much worse. We will, he said. We can and we will. So much worse to you. The mongoloid, Eric Trump. What have you fucking rubes done? And now we got a stripper getting all a little too hype on that evil. A little too eager to turn coat on her people. A little too eager to catch Donnie's eye. Making threats without permission. Now let's hear about Miss Luna's background. Let's hear where the source, the type of human that this is coming from. I have a feeling she's just like a person named Bobo. Do you know who Bobo is? If you don't know who Bobo is, you better ask somebody. I have a feeling Miss Luna is going to come from that same place. Luna served as an airfield management specialist in the Air Force from 2009 to 2014. First at Whiteman Air Force, but yeah, you know what? None of this is the real story. Let's get to the real story. While she was in the Air Force, she began to study at the local college. She also modeled, in quotes, during this period. Appearing in 2013 in Sports Illustrated online site, and she couldn't even get in the real mag, anyway, and briefly worked as a cocktail waitress in a gentleman's club. She later appeared as a swimsuit model in Maxim. Luna gained a following as an Instagram influencer. You mean a turncoat on her own people after she was a stripper? And strippers out there, you know, every stripper I've ever met in my life, and I haven't met that many. I've met a few, though. They all say when you find out or they tell you they worked in a gentleman's club, they always a bartender or a waitress. You notice that? You isn't fooling anyone when you say that. You know that, right? Let's read that part again because that's my favorite. I love seeing strippers work their way out the strip club, God knows how, like Bobo probably, right into Congress. And they do good performances for all the geriatrics that got to pop a pill to get a fucking hard on. After they look at Miss Luna and they get all excited. Let's take a look again, because this is a fascinating resume. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Because she did all this while she was in the Air Force. I mean, what a multitasker. What a Renaissance woman. Renaissance indeed, oldest profession in history. Because it ain't just stripping that goes on in strip clubs, ladies. I don't know if you know that. Oh, no. You think men just go places just to look at naked women and get all excited and then nothing happens? Oh, no. There's a thing called the back room. And I've never been to a strip club. Ever. Not my thing, man. I never really needed to go that route, honestly. One more time. So while in the Air Force, she also modeled during this period, and we know what modeling means. That's another industry, people. We've read the articles years ago. I presented all that to you, what the modeling industry really is. It ain't just modeling. It ain't just pretty girls in pretty clothes. It's pretty girls without those clothes on, too. So she was a model appearing in 2013 Sports Illustrated Online, briefly worked as a cocktail waitress in a gentleman's club. Cocktail waitress, sure. That's what they all say. Don't worry, Donnie, you'll get this part scrubbed right off of Wikipedia. Leon hates Wikipedia because of the things they say about him. You know, the truth. Oh, God. She later appeared as a swimsuit model in Maxim. Wow, you know what? These credentials and an Instagram influencer? What credentials for Congress? She's so qualified. And she's really qualified to make these threats. What was that again? You either work with the U.S. or face the full weight of our power. Oh, you mean Donnie's power? The person you're making threats on behalf of without his permission? Because you got a little excited. You're a little excited now you out the strip club and have a little respectability. Fucking joke. Another Bobo joke. That's all that bitch is. Oh, here's Elon explaining how generous his forced resignations are. The philosophy of we'll make it so chaotic and miserable for you, you won't even want to come to work, don't worry. That's Leon, the daddy's boy, who grew up filthy rich because of an emerald mine and other Nazi-type endeavors, or apartheid endeavors. The beluga whale-shaped looking dude, who has other men hose him down. Leon says on his website that he bought with Saudi and Russian money and Puff Daddy money. Worth noting that the 8-month severance offer through the end of the government fiscal year is the most that is legally allowed without Congress passing another appropriations bill. Very generous. Wow, we have a South African oligarch who does Nazi salutes telling us that getting rid of 2 million government workers and making it so chaotic and miserable, that this package they're offering them it's so generous. How generous of Leon, the unelected official that bought your president, your cult leader Donnie, who now has an office in the White House. And boy, weren't they quick to get rid of that Middle Eastern dude, Ramaswamy, or is he Indian? Does it matter to those people? Of course it doesn't. All that mattered is Vivek Ramaswamy had the name Ramaswamy, and he had brown skin. Do you see how quick they threw him to the curb once they didn't need him anymore? That's what Nazis do. That's what white supremacists do to turncoats. They don't take them seriously. They use them to get where they need to go, and then they discard them. Mr. Ramaswamy thought he was going to be big time in the white supremacist movement as he turncoated on his own fucking people. Where's Ramaswamy now? On the curb, I would guess, because he wasn't the right complexion for all this. And that's what you'll all find out, all the turncoats that join a white supremacist movement. And I'm a white guy saying that. So Leon's saying, hey, this is the most generous package allowed by law. You guys should just take it. And, it's so easy to go out there and find another job that pays you enough to live on and has a benefits package and all the stuff that the federal government has. And again, even though Donnie and Leon have this philosophy that they want everybody else to work in the private sector, they have no problem taking your tax money, stealing it, taking it in salary, however they can get it, son. But everyone else they want in the private sector. No problem for them to steal all your tax money, though. And take a salary. Anybody else, though? We can't have that. That's wasteful spending. Wait till you see what these fools do to your government. And I hope you don't need any government services, boy. Welfare, Social Security, they looting it all, son. And they ain't hiding it, and they didn't hide their intentions before this. Trump blames DEI for deadly plane army chopper collision. And that's what this looks like. Or excuse me, this is what that looks like. Boy, he just looks great, doesn't he? I'm loving the white highlighting along with the orange and the just ridiculous fucking comb over as usual that he's always had. He doesn't even look human anymore. You know why that is? Because they a special spirit inside of him. That spirit that's inside of you. This is a good point. And you know, when people started blaming Trump for this crash immediately and Leon, I thought to myself, maybe you people are jumping the gun a bit here. And I don't like to jump on that bandwagon. But then I found out all the stuff that happened behind the scenes with the FAA and that Leon was fined by them. I had forgotten. There's so much. Again, there's so many schemes and scams. This reminds me of the gypsies. But the gypsies, you know, were very small time compared to this. My point is there's too many schemes and scams to keep track of. And you forget some of it. Reminds me of that situation. Because it's the same evil. Like literally, it's the same evil. You don't get to fire the head of the TSA and the Aviation Security Advisory Committee, freeze hiring of all air traffic controllers, fire 100 top FAA security officers, and then claim a plane crash a week later is a tragic accident. That's a damn good point. I'm sorry. They making an argument and they convincing me. That's what happened. I started getting convinced. You know what? Maybe Donnie and Leon did have a little something to do with this. ICE detained a family, including a toddler, after they were overheard speaking Spanish. They're U.S. citizens from Puerto Rico. No chance to explain. The mother, grandmother, and child were shopping when ICE agents took them into detention before admitting their mistake. This is Trump's America. Yes. Literally what I tried to warn of. You're already in the gulag before you're proving your citizenship. Do you want to go through that experience, Latin people? I asked you that question 10 months ago. There were Latin people right on this stream. Said, do you really want to go through that? Because as long as you just look Latin, you fit the profile of the racist, white supremacist Nazi movement that we have now. People tried to warn you. Again, I don't know why any Latin person would ever, any minority at all, would vote Republican at this point. Again, it's just like shooting yourself in the head, basically. I don't get it. And look what all you people are going through now. You're getting taken to the gulag when you're a U.S. citizen. That's the danger of roundups. But again, everybody's so smart. Everybody's so wise. They into this, they into that. What they didn't get into is learning about 1930s Germany. They should have got into that. Because it went from one ethnic minority being rounded up and gassed to all ethnic minorities being rounded up and gassed. And it's a real simple lesson you all could have learned. instead of what the latest rap song is, what some jerk off said on Instagram, what the latest utterly non-talented auto-tune performer is doing, what girl you're gonna ball, what guy you gonna ball when you got 2 kids already at home. Everybody worried about dumb shit. They should have learned about late 1930s Germany. Boy, it would have saved us all a lot of hassle that we about to go through. That you can't even fathom what we about to go through. If only. Maybe you people wouldn't be getting rounded up right now, even though you U.S. citizens, a lot of you. Wonder who's going on the list next. Because the list always gets bigger. It don't get smaller. It never does in a dictatorship. But you wouldn't know that. Your boy just called. You know, you got to go down to the bar or the club or something. I'm sure you guys are all wise. You all got it figured out. Everyone I see you walking around out there, you all got it figured out. I know. Nikki's crazy. A reporter asked Mr. Duffy one question at the end of the press conference. Is there an acting FAA director right now? Guess what Mr. Duffy did? He just walked away because he don't want to answer that question. The reporter asked that question because he knew Donnie and Leon forced the FAA director out. So that's the kind of accountability we have for a real question. I'll just walk away. Because it's, it's just a white supremacist movement anyway. I don't really care about this job. The real agenda is Satan and white supremacy. FAA director resigned on the day of Trump's inauguration under pressure from Leon scum. There's that South African oligarch again, folks, that has the office in the White House. It's Donnie's roommate down at Mar-a-Lago. $70 people dead. And it's just the beginning. Pete Hegseth, remember that Nazi, drunk, rapey-ass motherfucker who's now your defense secretary, utterly unqualified, and I mean utterly. Diversity is not our strength, he says. He's talking about the military. No, he says our unity, our cohesion, blah, 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 blah. No, son. You just talking white supremacy again. That's all you do. And this ain't no. Old as fuck. When a person says diversity is not our strength, that is a dog whistle for white supremacy, and it's nothing more, and everyone knows it. And they've proven it every day that it's a white nationalist movement, just like late 30s Germany, and it's complete with the Sieg Heils and everything. Even though Hitler's long fucking dead, they still do it. He's like the Jesus of evil, I guess, in the modern era. This is an exchange between Adam Schiff and Kash Patel. And what's sad, here's the sad part. You ready, Roops? When I throw those two names out there, Adam Schiff and Kash Patel, I can already hear the gears turning in your head. Because it's been pounded so into your Neanderthal skulls that Schiff is some type of bad guy. You know what Adam Schiff is? And this is coming from a person that's followed politics very closely. I don't know, for 30 years. He's one of the few decent politicians. That's who Adam Schiff is. He's one of the few that actually care about this country. I can tell by the way the man speaks, what he does, what he says. There ain't no scandals. There's nothing. And don't throw the scandals at me that have been thrown at you. I know better than that. I do real research, and I live in reality. Adam Schiff is one of the few good ones. And there ain't many, man. That's who he is. Let's see what he has to say quickly. Senator Schiff presses Kash Patel to look at the Capitol police officers behind, and this is during the sociopath Kash Patel's confirmation hearing for the new job, head of the FBI. Kash Patel. When have we ever had a head of the FBI with that kind of name? I don't know. I thought MAGA didn't like those kind of names. They love turncoats, though. They really do. So did Hitler till he didn't need them anymore. Ask Vivek how turncoating works out. Schiff says, I want you to look at them if you can. If you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Patel remains silent. You know, like Duffy, when asked by a reporter, hey, do we have an FAA director right now, Cherkoff? And he's running out the room from that question. Same thing here. When Adam holds up a mirror to the motherfucker, to the sociopath. You want to turn around and tell these officers that what you did that day and what those people did was a good thing, like you do everywhere else? You know what I would have done that day at the Capitol? I would have taken my helmet off, dropped my baton, and went the fuck home, son. Why the fuck not? I'm gonna die for Donnie shitbags? Oh no. That would have been my last day of work when I saw that crowd. Actually, you know what? I probably would have called out that day. Even though my boss, I guarantee, threatened everybody. If you call out, son, you fired. Okay, I'll take that deal. I ain't feeling well today, boss. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stay home. Why should I give a fuck when the president of the United States at the moment is trying to overthrow the fucking government? And the military doesn't jump in to stop it. They sit back and watch until Donnie makes the call and Miller makes the call. Another person, again, that Miller scumbag that wrote that memo and sat there and allowed the military to stand on the fucking sidelines that day. He should be in fucking prison. He should have been the first motherfucker in prison. And no, I ain't buying the bullshit, Mr. Miller. I did that so Donnie couldn't use the National Guard. Well, no one was using the Guard, was they? While cops were getting beaten. And then you got the police unions endorsing Donnie. It's incredible what you're willing to brush aside in order to keep doing that evil. And I'm talking to the police union specifically. Man. Again, I know the answer to this question. If Jack the Ripper with a bloody knife got in front of a camera and they said, he's your new Republican nominee for president, every one of you cunts would vote for him. I know it. Man, you would overlook anything to satisfy that brainwashing, to satisfy that notion that you know anything, that you have the slightest fucking clue what's wise. That is your existence, unfortunately, for the fucking rest of us. Your ignorance, your stupidity, your evil, that you would put your name on this and talk it up and support it. And a lot of you going to take part, physical part. You're going to commit atrocities against people. And you're going to keep doing those mental gymnastics to justify it as you go further, further, further into that abyss with the fucking devil.
Because that's who's running all this. And I don't care if you know that or believe me. That's who's running Donnie Shitbags. That's who's running Leon. When I say it's supernatural or seems as if it's supernatural, I ain't just saying that.
So that's a brilliant moment right there. And Adam Schiff is a master at doing it. Holding up the mirror as you cultists cringe and turn away from it. Because you know what you is, and you ain't proud of none of it. You say you proud, but you ain't proud. The FCC has just announced investigations into NPR and PBS. Yes, I mean, NPR and PBS, they're a total threat to humanity. They're the most boring, non-threatening broadcasts since since the dawn of man. There's only one reason to get rid of these public access type news channels, because they're beginning to run a propaganda ministry where lies will equal truth, good will equal evil. Everything will be inversion. Why? Because that's the way they daddy likes it. Just like back in Hitler's day, just like in modern China now and modern Russia. You say something about dear leader, your neighbor hears you, kid hears you, they let somebody know, you get a knock on the door. Surveillance, no protesting, no freedom, no workers' rights. That's where we go, and thuggery reigns. That's where we going. We almost there now. It's happening at the speed of light. Donnie says there's a light shining over America. You know what he means when he says that? Do you know he's paying tribute to when he makes a comment like that? You guys all missed that one, didn't you? I didn't miss it. That's tribute to his daddy. Because he thinks that everybody out there doesn't know what he is and what's going on. Oh, well, there's some of us that do. So yes, NPR and PBS, Leon's got to make those go away. Because Leon and Donnie are going to be in control of all and any narratives going forward. To a greater and greater degree. Department of Transportation policies. Do I want to get into this? Cancellation. I'm going to skip that. Here's the point. Give preference to communities with marriage and birth rates higher than the national average. They have this thing about birth rates, and I have a feeling they have this thing about white birth rates. But anyway, money and transportation apparatus will be directed more to areas that have higher birth rates than average. I know what they mean by that. They don't mean po people in po communities with a bunch of kids. That's not what they mean. I think you know what they mean. Trump's Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just sent out a memo directing staff to give preference to communities with marriage and birth rates higher than the national average. If you understand white supremacy, if you understand the Nazi movement, you understand what this means. I won't spend a lot of time explaining it. I think you get the point. Trump administration removes online database of January 6 cases. He's trying to erase history. I've been saying this for a couple years now, or ever since it happened. The book bans and stuff like that were not just about getting rid of, stories about slavery or the slaughter of the Native Americans or LGBTQ. They were also about this. Because again, half of the political machine in government, almost half of it tried to overthrow our government, and almost half of it is taking Russian money, podcasters taking Russian money, websites taking Russian money, everybody taking Russian money, and Vlad's got plenty of it because he's a mobster. He'll just do things like take 100 million from Google on a whim, and Google doesn't do jack shit about it. So the book bans, the desire to control the narrative, even down to the little children's, that extends to the January 6th stuff. Forgive me. Jess needs a cigarette. Because this shit gonna be long. It's already long. So for years I've been saying they want to get rid of all that J6 stuff. The fact that one political party in this country, the majority of them, attempted to overthrow the government. And if, I don't know, a couple Secret Service guys or a couple congressional security people didn't start busting caps, you would have had congressmen and senators killed. You may have had a vice president hung that day. That's not the slightest exaggeration. This thing was planned from, I mean, there's documentaries on it. All these people arrived, you know, before the sun came up. They were building stuff, getting it all prepared. Weapons were stored off-site. Some people brought weapons. This was a, you know, heavily funded operation, planned way in advance. It didn't just happen organically. Oh no. So they need to erase that from the history books, and that's part of this endeavor here. That's why January 6 cases are being erased from a database, just disappearing. When people get on camera or give dissertations about, hey, we're heading into a dystopian nightmare, Rubes, I'm talking to you, maybe you should take them seriously, because they all way smarter than you. So let me say it again. This is a dystopian nightmare taking shape. You're watching it in real time, Rubes. If you don't know what that is, because I know none of you have ever read 1984 or Handmaid's Tale or none of that. You wouldn't be interested in that. No, you'd rather, I don't know, talk about Jesus after you're warned how the evil liberals are going to ruin the planet, as you literally put your name on the very satanic globalist agenda, and those are your words, and make it happen. That's you. Psychologically superior. Yes, that phrase really got to me because I know what it means. And again, it's another racial dog whistle, because they think the white man in general is mentally, physically, everything's superior. That's the philosophy behind Nazism. The philosophy is the white race is the best. Everybody else sucks. I'm white, and I'm not even part of it. That's how disgusting it is. I don't even understand how anyone, let's be honest, what is it really? It's a refuge, a kind of club that less than mediocre white guys that aren't good at anything, and I mean anything, you know, join up with. That's all it is. Incels, socially awkward idiots like Leon, sociopaths like Donnie and Leon. It's some type of weird refuge club for them because they ain't good at anything. And no one actually wants them around. I mean, no one. It's also a refuge for a guy named Satan. He loves it. Okay, we hit the Al Franken thing. We hit the what the fuck reporters were so horrified by Donnie's DEI speech right after 70 people died. Now he's talking about trade. Mexico and Canada have never been good to us on trade. They've treated us very unfairly on trade, and we will be able to make that up very quickly because we don't need the products that they have. We have all the oil you need. We have all the trees you need, meaning the lumber. Yes, let's start just clearing more trees off of our land. And look, we are Rome, okay? We are way too built up. We have had more excess in our little empire since it began than ever in the history of mankind. No place was ever built on excess like this place. That's what we are. Therefore, we need the resources from Canada and Mexico. Without them, we fucked. And if we can't get them there, I guess we got to get them from Russia, China, etc. I assume we'll probably start buying a shit ton of oil from Russia. That's where I assume Donnie's going to go. Unfortunately, that's not good for us because Canada's right up, north of our border. A lot easier to get oil from there. But Donnie don't want to do that. He's, in league with thugs and Satan, so he doesn't want to work with Trudeau in Canada. The nice people that we can rely on, that are our allies before Donnie's shitbags came along. But again, the rubes wouldn't know what an ally is. They hear things like freedom fries, and they see operatives on camera pour wine into gutters, and they buy into that because they're stupid. And I mean that sincerely. So they look at our European allies as a joke. They look at Trudeau in Canada as a joke because they're told to, no other reason. Sad. That's why you just lost your country, because you thought you was wise. "15% of American adults take or have taken Ozempic. Denmark is considering blocking all sales to America." Uh-oh, what's Donnie going to do? How's he going to keep losing weight? Or Leon, or any of you people that take this. As well as Lego and access to Maersk shipping, which accounts for 15% of global shipping. Surprisingly good leverage for a small little country. Yes, surprisingly indeed. I know. We big, tough America, we don't need anybody, right? Yeah, we do. Why? Because we roam. That's why. We live in excess. We think Honey Boo Boo and Duck Dynasty is cool. We think the Kardashians are cool. We think Puff Daddy, the sex trafficker, is cool. We do things like talk about Epstein and sex trafficking rings for 40 years. Then when an orange bloated con man who's all up in it, in the damn center of it, comes along, we just disregard that. And by we, I mean you fucking hypocrite rubes. You traitors to your country by proxy. That's what I mean by we. I never dug any of that shit. Why would I? Where's the wisdom? Speaking of wisdom, where's the wisdom in the Egyptian texts that you guys love so much? I found none. All the zeitgeist and bullshit. I used to talk about this as well. And I'm in a mood this evening, so, why not? The zeitgeist phenomenon, where the old Egyptian stories are the same as the Christian story about Jesus. No, they isn't, son. They ain't even remotely close. My God, the leaps and bounds you people make for Satan. It's incredible. The mental gymnastics you do. when you read the story of Horus and all that fucking bullshit, completely fabricated junk, garbage, a fucking comic book story. That's all you get out of it. There isn't a shred of motherfucking wisdom there. When entities are biting their mothers' heads off and this is happening and it's all bullshit. And they worship it for no other reason than it's of their father. That's it. There's no wisdom there, not any whatsoever. But what there is power, money, riches, selling your soul. Saying things like zeitgeist are legitimate, research, legitimate arguments, legitimate theses. Legitimate feces, actually. That's all it is, son. When you read the teachings of Christ, though, wisdom upon wisdom upon wisdom. But the rubes would never hear any of that. And the elites at the top, all they want is money and power. So it's an obelisk here, an eye here, a pyramid here. Fuck you. I'll see you at the lake, son. Every damn motherfucking one of you. And I know you people know who I am. I know you people do. I'm the Lynx of Nine. I think you know what that is. Oh, this is, I keep finding these leaked, or not leaked, but portals that government workers get to look at that Leon and Donnie have come up with that lets you know all the information about giving up your career. And they just, you elitist cunts like Leon. People, went to college, they worked their way up into a nice government job, whatever. They making a salary, they making a living, they doing the right thing, they coming to work in a shitty office. And then Leon comes along, hey, just take a buyout, we'll give you 6-7 months worth of money, and good luck finding a new career in a job market where not one company wants to pay benefits or give 40 hours a week or put you on salary, and unless you know 9 people inside, you ain't getting the fucking job. If you ain't one of the elitists that belong to all the little clubs that you guys love so much, you ain't getting the fucking job. So 2 million people are now supposed to just go find new careers in the private sector, right? Because Donnie and Leon, they love taking government money. They love stealing government money. But they don't want you to have none. And there's a reason why there's a pause on all federal spending. Do you know what that reason is? Because that's Donnie's money, son. I keep telling you people that. When Donnie says America, he means me. When Donnie says federal money, he means my money. That's why he don't want to share it with nobody. FEMA, whatever. Don't matter if you're a red state, blue state, whatever. That's Donnie's money. He wants to keep it. That's why 2 million people got to go and get private sector jobs. Because that's Donnie's money. You don't know, you better ask somebody. This is a BCAST NOAA federal website, HR. We have received a number of questions regarding the Deferred Resignation Program. Deferred resignation. Where else would you get a phrase like that? But from HR cunts in the image of Leon Scum. That's where you get phrases like that. Deferred Resignation Program. Below are our top facts. Question, am I expected to work at my government job during the deferred resignation period? No, they just want you gone, man. We want loyalists, and we want to loot. We want to get rid of every government worker, replace them with loyalists, and we want to loot all the money. That's the goal. So no, you don't need to come to work. We need you gone. Am I allowed to get a second job during the deferred resignation period? Absolutely. We encourage you to find a job in the private sector as soon as you would like to do so. Oh, well, that's great that they encourage you to do that. Just go find a new career in America where every job is shipped overseas, and the ones that ain't shipped, they bring foreigners in for that. Leon loves them. They all come from India. And they're so much more talented than you engineers here in America. That's what Leon says. That's what Vivek said too. Where's Vivek at again? I haven't heard from him lately. What happened to him? Oh, there's more to that part. The way to greater American prosperity, encouraging people to move from lower productivity jobs in the public sector to higher productivity jobs in the private sector. Oof. And you know who that's coming from, right? That's Leon, the daddy's boy who grew up rich. That's where that's coming. He's talking about lower productivity government jobs. When all this is about is installing loyalists and looting America. Leon hates America even though we made that cunt rich. Welfare fucking queen wouldn't be jack shit without your money, son. Wouldn't be a damn thing. Still be begging daddy for a loan. Will I really get my full pay and benefits during the entire period through September 30th, even if I get a second job? Yes, you will accrue further personal leave days, vacation days, and be paid for unused leave. If you believe all that, son, I got a bridge to sell you. There are Twitter employees right now that are suing for their severances that they still have not been paid. But you going to trust Leon as a government worker to live up to all these promises once you sign on to it? Once you say, okay, I'll quit my career for Leon. Good luck getting all those things that he promised you. Good fucking luck. Ask the Twitter employees how that went. Can I take an extended vacation while on administrative leave? Oh, you're most welcome to stay home, relax, travel. Wow, thanks for permission, Leon. You're most welcome to take a swim in that lake. Then again, you're really not going to have a choice in the matter. Or to travel to your dream destination, yes, because they're just going to give you so much money, right? And, you know, why not just take a huge vacation that costs thousands of dollars when you don't have a job anymore? Disgusting. This is all disgusting. And you rubes made this happen. The highest ranking career official at the Treasury Department is departing after a clash with allies of Elon Musk over access to sensitive payment systems. Typically, just a small number of career officials control Treasury's payment systems. And I was wondering how long it would take Donnie and Leon to literally have access to all of your tax money. This is how long it took them. About 3 seconds. Head of FAA, gone. Head of Treasury, gone. Donnie and Leon now have the keys to the safe. Are you proud of yourselves, Rubes? Your chicken coop, are you going to let the foxes in tonight? Just going to leave the door open? Put a big piece of steak at the entrance to the chicken coop? Because that's all you've done here. You wouldn't do that, right, with your chicken? Because that chicken coop, that feeds your family, that also brings in money, right? You would never do that. You would never cut your own throat, right? No, you just cut ours. Cunts. Well, you handed the keys to Leon and Donnie to the Treasury. Good luck with that. Don't cry when all your money disappears. Don't cry when you get offered fucking Donnie coin as a replacement for what you used to have that had value. Because that's where it's going. Trump administration shocks senior FBI ranks by moving to replace them. Gee, yeah. Again, remove everyone, replace them with utter sycophants, all the way down to the janitor. That's a true movement of authoritarianism. That's what's going on here. You're watching the dismantling of everything that matters in this country, and heads being replaced by sycophants, all the way down to janitor. So they, Donnie, Leon, Thale, etc., can loot this nation because they don't have enough money. As you struggle paycheck to paycheck, wonder how you're going to feed your family, buy a car, whatever. These multi-billionaires don't have enough money and power. They want to steal all of your tax money now, loot every agency's budget, loot the Treasury. A white helicopter pilot and a white airline pilot, along with more than 60 passengers, lose their lives in a terrible tragedy, and somehow it's DEI's black people's fault. Somehow, indeed, well, everything's going to be black people's fault, or gay people's fault, or women's fault. In this new white supremacist Nazi regime we're in, guess who else's fault it's going to be, guys? Guess who Nazis really don't like? Jewish people. But this is a special Nazi movement. Actually, it's not special. It's just the same as the last one. They killed Christians too. But they said they were Christian. That's what Adolf said. And he said the commies and liberals and socialists were evil. That's what Adolf said. Donnie says he loves the Jews when he's not talking shit on them and blaming them for a future loss. Do you guys remember that in the Jewish community? I'm sure Bibi and the right wing in Israel want you to forget. When Donnie, before the election, because he knew he was going to lose, he was on the ropes like a motherfucker. It was obvious. The whole right-wing grift machine knew he was going to lose. And he was at a Jewish event, and he said to the Jewish people there and the Jewish community at large, he said, "You guys are part of the reason I'm going to lose if I lose." Ouch. A portent of things to come for the Jewish community. I talked about it at the time. But I probably only had, my other channel with like 40 views of it, because I've been shut down 19 times. So do you guys remember that? Before the election, when he pre-blamed the Jewish community for losing before he lost? But magically he won. Even though he said that to you people, a lot of you still voted for him, didn't you? Just like the Latin people did. I'm sorry to tell you, you're going to be one of the main targets of this. You're one of the main targets. You are the main target in any Nazi white supremacist movement. Dangerous. Fire. The Jewish community that supports this animal are playing with. A Bay Area airport near San Francisco is losing all its air traffic controllers. Starting this weekend, controllers resigned after Leon Scum forced FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker out, and the FAA changed air traffic contracts to a firm that would pay them less. Hey, Leon. Hey, Donnie. You wouldn't mind a pay cut, right, guys? You bloated, fat, disgusting cunts. but no problem contracting the FAA work out. So those dudes take a pay cut, right? Of course not. This photograph was taken 2 days ago at the FBI Academy in Quantico. And it was submitted under anonymity to the NYT, New York Times. My God, if there was ever a more karmic admission than this. I don't know if I saw one, but it does remind me of the time. A certain old lady whose son-in-law had died put a picture of him and his family up. But over the picture, she wrote a message. And the message said, "Best dead ever." And I personally looked at that moment as some type of karmic admission. Here, what do you see? You see kind of workplace propaganda that talks about diversity, equity, inclusion, all that. But this propaganda is good, in my opinion, because we have a history in this country of not being inclusive, and we about to go that route in spades now. And what's being painted over, that's a painting technique that painters use, obviously. But what is it forming over the diversity? I don't even know what to call that. The words used to describe this policy of inclusivity. Well, what it appears he's painting over it is a W. So when I see that, I think of white supremacy, white power, right over the diversity messages in Quantico. That's a main priority, people. I want you to really look at this. I want this to sink in. This was a top priority for Donnie and Leon and Hegseth and Patel and all of them. We need to cover that diversity message up at Quantico, man. We can't have FBI agents thinking about diversity. We want them thinking about that W right there. The man is not intentionally painting a W. He's just a painter. But what we see in this photo is a karmic admission that this is where we about to go, where diversity, equity, and inclusion is not wanted. In fact, we're going to erase it. We're going to paint a big W right over it. We're going to make sure it doesn't exist anymore, as if it never existed. What does that tell all you people that are non-white out there and non-male? Every single one of you, where this is going, who the targets are. Black people, Latin people, women, gays, liberals, just like in Nazi Germany. You just saw it again. Look at this again. Never forget this. The Rubes made this happen. So again, if you fit into any of these categories, a minority, gay, female, it was a priority to cover up anything that advocates for you. Priority number one, we're seeing it being painted over. We're what, 2 weeks in? This was top priority, not helping you get lower rents or lowering your mortgage or lowering your homeowner's insurance or making society better in any way. This, we have to get a painter down to Quantico to cover up that fairness, leadership, compassion, diversity, integrity, stability, blah, 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 all the words they use. That's the priority. In the new Nazi white supremacist America. This picture is one of the most amazing photos I've ever seen in my life. This is Senator Grassley asking the sociopath Kash Patel some questions. Did you ever promote QAnon? Kash Patel: no, Senator. Just bold motherfucking face lying, because it doesn't matter anymore. Your rubes don't mind lying. You've got a compulsive liar in Beast 1. You've got a compulsive liar in Beast 2 that's exercising the authority of Beast 1. And you've got a compulsive liar sociopath here in Mr. Patel. So you guys don't mind lies. You don't mind getting conned or grifted, obviously. So here you have Kash just lying his ass off. Wired. Here are all the times Kash Patel promoted QAnon. Indeed, and it doesn't matter the paper or outlet that does the story. We know what Kash Patel is about. He's all about QAnon. You all were. What's Q saying lately? I wonder. It's amazing how an anonymous Russian operative or whatever became gospel to you fucking rubes. It's incredible. To the point we've got a sociopath, Kash Patel, saying he never promoted it. Well, again, you guys were all proud of it before. You're proud of it online. Why aren't you proud of it at the confirmation hearing? Maybe there's nothing to be proud of. Maybe that's why. Maybe that kind of talk only works on rube idiots out in the populace and not in a confirmation hearing. Just a thought. David LeBrick, the highest-ranking career official at the Treasury Department, is set to depart after a clash with allies of Leon Scum. Musk's surrogates reportedly has sought access to a sensitive system that handles over, are you ready, rubes? You're ready for what this is really about? That handles over $6 trillion annually in Social Security and Medicare payments, federal salaries, government contracts, and tax refunds. Very concerning. Very concerning indeed. That's Elon's, one of his favorite phrases. He'll write concerning. No, what's concerning, rubes, is the fact that you gave your country to a South African oligarch, Satanist, as you like to call them, for couch cushion money. That's concerning. You're going to be concerned, don't worry. 6 trillion, you say. And, you know, there's been this condescending asshole on camera every day saying we about to be looted. And then we see a number that they were demanding access to called 6 trillion. Is you getting the picture, rubes? Trump administration sets stage for possible mass FBI purge. Mass purge indeed. And that's great because the FBI is evil, right, guys? No, they investigated Donnie and they want all loyalists there. They don't want no more investigations. Don't worry, there won't be any ever again. Not into him anyway. Into you, maybe. And hey, remember our experience with the FBI? So I've got no sympathy for him, honestly. Because they allowed 2 of their agents to be used by the mob, the gypsy mobsters that came after me, sent men to kill me. They allowed themselves to be used as thugs for the mob to harass my ex-girlfriend, to get to me. How's it going now, guys? Now that you're all being forced out, I hope those same two fucking cunts that came to my girlfriend's door, I hope this comes to your door, son. So I got no sympathy for a damn one of you. But the problem with this is it's further dismantling of our country. Now you're going to get your real chance to be henchmen for thugs and mobsters. Donnie's the ultimate mobster, next to Putin. So now you're all going to get to be, henchmen for thugs every day, all day. Every case you work on. Should be fun, right, guys? You have no problem doing it. Two of your men came to my girlfriend's door. So I guess it'll just be pretty much the same as it was before, right, guys? Leon, here we go again. The South Africans chiming in because he runs our budget now. He runs our country now. He has access to $6 trillion fucking dollars now. Well done, Rubes. Reducing the federal deficit from $2 trillion to $1 trillion in fiscal year 2026 requires cutting an average of $4 billion a day in projected 2026 spending from now to September 30th. That would still result in a $1 trillion deficit, but economic growth should be able to match that number, which would mean no inflation in 2026. Super big deal. Guess what, folks? None of that's going to happen. It's all going in Leon and Donnie's pocket. End of story. None of this HR talk, this talk as if he's some type of CEO, economist, expert on budgets. No, this is third grade math here, son. And it don't fool me. Again, this is another fake daddy's boy who bought his way into executiveship in every company. He doesn't know jack shit. He's a fucking moron. He's the greediest piece of shit alive, him and Donnie and Putin and Thale. Not a special bone in any they body. They just cretins that want every dollar in their pocket, and they want you to have nothing. Again, none of this is about saving money, reducing the size of government, or any fiscal responsibility. Has Leon been fiscally responsible with any of his companies? Absolutely fucking not. All he's done is fire people till the service is so terrible and the quality is so terrible that you ain't getting nothing for your money anymore. When you buy a Tesla, when you go to Twitter, whatever. That's all he's done. And he's got no, ability, budget ability, nothing. He just comes in and fires people. What talent does that take? Absolutely none. So him breaking that all down for me, that the big 2 minus 1 equals 1. Wow. I'm just so impressed, Leon. I got an equation for you. What's 2 minus L? Well, the answer to that question would be -2. Exclusive Musk aides lock government workers out of computer systems at U.S. agency, sources say. Yeah, there's the South African oligarch again, not elected into any office, who you Rubes just handed your country to. Oh, this is a promise. On January 28, 2025, the U.S. Office of Personnel Management sent a government-wide email presenting a deferred resignation order to federal employees. And this is basically what it says. I'm informing you that the offer is valid, lawful, and will be honored by the USDA. If you accept the deferred resignation offer, you'll receive pay and benefits through September 30, 2025, and will not be subject to a reduction in force or other premature separation. In other words, trust me, bro. You'll get your money, the checks in the mail, son. That's what he told the Twitter employees. That's what he told the Tesla employees. Guess what? How many of them are in court right now suing for those benefits and things they were promised? But I'm sure they'll keep this promise, right, Rubes? The 97 trillion lies Donnie and Leon have told before this point, they won't do it again. They promise. Wait till you see what they do. This is just the opening salvo, Rubes. We haven't even gotten to the real fun yet. And again, this is one of the Klippensteins again saying, you know, this is a letter saying that, trust me, bro, it's all legal and lawful. Don't worry. It's all going to happen. And Donnie's known to be, you know, tell the truth all the time. And so's Leon. So nothing to worry about. Right, Rubes? And I don't need to read that whole thing. Leon pushed out the FAA chief who resigned 1 year into a 5-year term last week. Why? You ready, Rubes? Because last year the FAA fined SpaceX $600,000 for safety violations. And we love safety violations with rockets and stuff, right, Rubes? And Leon's rockets, they never blow up, right? Now the FAA has no chief, and we just had the first commercial airline crash in 16 years. I wonder what the cause could have been. Maybe the Rubes know. Maybe the cause was $600,000. Maybe that was the cause. So all of you, because Leon got fined, the guy who's worth, I don't know, 350 billion, 400 billion now, he got fined 600,000. So now all of you Rubes that have to get on planes got to shake and worry and have an aneurysm. Because Leon, you know, he got pissed because he got fined 600. So at least you're going to know why. When your plane goes down, you're going to know why it goes down. You can thank Leon for that. But hey, at least you had advance warning for 8 years. I don't even want to read that. Let's just read this part. ICE just told staff that they are not allowed to take up the Trump admin's resignation offer. Despite that, employees may have responded to the initial email expressing interest. In other words, the email probably went out to all government. So the ICE people, the new brown shirts, because that's all you is. So the ICE people thought, hey, maybe I can get out this sinking Titanic, get out this shit show before Donnie turns me into a straight up Nazi soldier. No, you're not allowed to. They need you brown shirts. They can't have you guys quitting en masse. Then they have no brown shirts. That's simple. Everybody else, so fuck you, you're expendable. Donnie says you're expendable. Literally, he said that. Pretty much said anyone's expendable. I bet he doesn't think that about himself. And I bet Leon doesn't think that about himself. You know, people that have had their fucking hand out forever, despite the fact being born filthy rich, that doesn't bother you, Rubes, does it? As you sit in your trailer with your 40-year-old TV, it doesn't bother you that these two cretins have had their hand out their entire fucking lives, asking other people for money. Fascinating. Fascinating. I know he was on a TV show and he said, "You're fired." And it was real exciting. You know, the daddy's boy who was a millionaire by age 8, who inherited 400 million from his daddy, and he tried to steal the rest before that from the rest of the family. Oh, here he is. Here's Donnie right here. Look how great he looks. He looks great. That orange hue, man. Got a nice solid shade of orange going there. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. He looks totally human. He doesn't look like a monster at all. So let's read it. With your efforts to reduce the federal workforce, are there any concerns about protecting the public? Donnie says, oh, that was a reporter asking that question. Everybody is replaceable, including you, Donnie? Leon, too? Because, hey, that's Donnie's philosophy. Everybody's replaceable. Are they going to say that when they're standing on the edge of the lake? That everybody's replaceable? Are they going to lecture us about how generous they were? How nice they were to all of us? I can't wait to hear it. Everybody is replaceable. We want them to go into the private sector. It's our dream to have everybody almost working in the private sector, except for Leon and Donnie and the good sycophants. No problem with them getting a big fat government salary from your money and them stealing even more. And them turning our country more and more into Nazi Germany over time. Wait till you see where this all goes. Little children. Wait till you see. So everyone's replaceable except for Donnie and Leon. They want you all to go out and get private sector jobs because that's real easy, right? After every factory job's been shipped to China, after so many executive and engineering jobs, they bring Indian people over that are better engineers and better qualified than you, according to Leon. According to Alex Jones, according to Donnie Shitbags. You know, all the real thinkers of our time. They're not abject traitors at all that took Russian money. Not at all. So the new America First strategy, in quotes, is to hit our allies in North America with 25% tariffs and China with 10% tariffs. Hey, you guys want to have a conversation how Joe Biden's owned by China? Let's have that conversation. Nah, let's not. Because it's just flat. That's all that is. And you Rubes parroted it all. Just like the death parrot. That's you. You know what that parrot was letting us all know? Letting me know? That he was death. And that's what's coming. Death. You don't even know what that is. You about to find out, though, man. That's what that parrot was there for. Oh. Speaking of that, the common myth that people like Leon like to put out there, because he is an actual Nazi. But he doesn't want you to understand what the Nazis were about, because since 1945, the right wing in this country has been telling you Rubes that the Nazis were socialists, and anything socialist or communist is bad. Bad word. And they've been pounding it into your head every election cycle, every time a right-winger's running for office. Here we go again. With they are socialists, the liberals are socialists, they're evil, just like that dog whistle phrase or word we've thrown at you since 1945. Hear it, run with it, parrot it, like a true, ignorant $3 rube. Adolf Hitler was a socialist. Socialist is bad, liberal bad. No, Nazi bad, son. This person is very smart. They broke it all down very succinctly and concisely. Elon Musk saying the Nazis were communists is clear proof that he is in fact not a genius. No, son. As smart as this person is, that is a tactic that's been used since 1945 by the right wing, which MAGA is an extension of. And they just continue in that narrative. It's not about being smart or stupid. These elitist people, they need the rubes to keep believing that liberal equals bad, that socialist equals Nazi, that communist equals Nazi. The only thing that equals Nazi is Nazi, which you've all put your name on, which you're seeing take shape right in front of your eyes. It is a breathtakingly ignorant claim. No, it's a breathtakingly evil claim with intent and an agenda behind it. But I dig where this guy's going. The Nazis were feverishly anti-communist and massacred some 1 million socialists and communists for their political views. That's the real story, Rubes. So when I say the first people that Adolf arrested were liberals, communists, and socialists, that's what I mean. Not only did he arrest them, he massacred them. Some Christians were in there too, and many Jews. And we sure do have a lot of Christians and Jews in this country, don't we? Furthermore, it was actual communists who defeated the Nazis and liberated Auschwitz. Yes, well, it was capitalists and communists, but I understand where he's going. Hitler himself in Mein Kampf explicitly called for the destruction of Marxism in all its shapes and forms. Boy, who else do we hear that from? And I'm no fan of Marxism, but we always hear that from a certain political leaning type people in this country. Marxism, bad. But Nazism, white supremacy, white nationalism, not bad. Always ready to call someone a Marxist, socialist, because they know that these words work on the rubes. The Nazis literally hunted down and killed actual socialists and union organizers. Uh-oh. Even unionists, trade unionists, because they were liberal. They were considered liberals, people that wanted a union so they had protection from the mobster who owned the company they work for. So they could turn the tables on that mobster and make him scared of their group. That's the real point of a union when they started. Oh, you got your mob that you pay? We got a mob too. That's what a union is, and they necessary. They very necessary. They've become a lot more civilized these days, but they used to not be. And why should they have been? Were the mobsters that owned all these companies civilized? Oh no, they're the most evil bastards on this planet. So I ain't got jack shit sympathy for them back in the old days when unions used to handle things. The Nazis literally hunted down, killed actual socialists. The Nazi regime was capitalist and undertook massive privatization of state firms. Well, capitalists to an extent. What they really were was just straight up fascism. If we want to apply capitalism to this person because we like him, fine. If we want to apply a communistic approach where we take all your money from your business, fine, we can do that too. It just depends who you are. If you're a Jew and we want to take everything you own and add it to our treasury, we'll do that. So there was no real belief system or economic system. I mean, most of the money, let's be honest, for Germany as it rebuilt itself was just stolen from other nations via Blitzkrieg. That's all. And stolen from the Jews that lived in their country. Whatever wealth they had, that's what Hitler used to build his machine. Donnie and Leon going to steal your wealth to build their machine. Literally. And that's the history lesson on Nazis, Rubes. Not what you've heard since 1945, or the history lesson on socialists, the whole thing, on what Hitler was, on what he thought, on how he acted, on who got killed. That's the truth. Not what you heard from the right-wing grift / terror machine since 1945. Here's a highlighted section excerpt from what's been going on between Musk and the Treasury. And so Mr. Musk has tried to deploy his engineers to find ways to turn off the flow of money from the Treasury Department to things that Mr. Trump wants to defund. Engineers, you say. In other words, they trying to pull some weird computer magic to where money only goes out to non-DEI, programs that they like. And Leon's all about AI and hacking and having people tweak algorithms so everyone is force-fed his $3 child's wisdom. What wisdom will we ever hear from a daddy's boy who was born rich, who grew up in a bubble, who faced no adversity except from his own father calling him a fucking retard? What wisdom would you ever get from someone like that? Not a damn bit, son. That's what wisdom. Yet you put your name on it. But you ain't seeking wisdom. If you did seek wisdom, you'd be on camera just like me saying what I'm saying. And you'd understand it all, and you'd be able to do it. But you didn't. So you put your name on literal Nazi movements. You put your name right next to Satan's, despite all the scripture you read, despite all the church you went to, despite all the money you put in the collection plate. When it really came time to handle that Evo, you couldn't do it. You joined up with it. You talked it up. You put your name on it. And here's, again, I read you that list the other day of all the holidays or feast days that Donnie does not want the military or government agencies to observe. It was really directed at the military at first because they really need the military and Quantico trainees to have this new mentality. That's why they're starting with that. Because those Quantico people and those military people, they're going to be the ones that subjugate all of us. Why? Because do you know anyone who's going to give up their paycheck for you, son? There ain't a damn human on the planet that'll do it. I've been through the workforce. I watch person after person stab me in the back, anyone else in the back, get an extra day off, an early out, a raise, a promotion. Because it's just business, right, guys? That's what you say as you backstab people and do fucked up things. Hey, it's just business. So yeah, Defense Agency pauses celebrations of Martin Luther King's birthday, Women's History Month, and others. That's the New York Times catching up to a story I told you guys about 2 days ago via a leaked document. I've done that a lot with you people. I've sometimes told you stories a week before the news reported them. Here's another example of that. But the real tragedy of this headline, in my opinion, it doesn't have that Holocaust thing in there. Because I noticed that, even if most other people didn't. When I read you that list, that someone had leaked to one of the Klippenstein brothers, and there's going to be more and more leaks as more and more people are horrified. And here's what it really comes down to. People are about to lose their paychecks, so they real mad. They would have been perfectly willing to keep their mouth shut for years and take that government paycheck and be part of this Nazi regime and work for Donnie. So many of you have no problem doing, even though you may have turned away once he fired you. Then all of a sudden you want to talk out in public. But before you took the paycheck, until he didn't like you no more, then you wanted to come out and tell us how, you know, how Evo he is. When you could have resigned on your own and come out and done that. Most of you didn't. Very few of you resigned on your own once you saw the craziness and realized I'm working for the devil. Most of you didn't do that, though. So again, this list, it was a long list of every holiday or feast day that had to do with minorities, women, Jews. Uh-oh. On that list of holidays, they no longer want the military observing in any way Holocaust remembrance. Do you get it now? Do you understand now why I've been on camera since 2015 talking about this? Because from 2015 till now, look where we're at. We went from a horrible Donnie Shitbag's presidency, where we had a plague and the entire world was shut down, and a zillion other things. His crimes afterwards, to memos going out to the military, telling them, we want no more anything that has to do with minorities, women, gays, liberals. We don't want it. We can't observe it. You're not allowed to anymore. And they mention the Jews specifically, just like a Nazi movement would, just like a white nationalist movement would. Holy fucking shit. We have a government, a United States government, sending memos to the military saying, we don't want you observing Holocaust remembrance. Holy fucking shit. Oh, not to mention the other 9, 10 holidays that have, you know, something to do with minorities or gays. This is what you've done, Rubes. And many of you might think it's cool, this white nationalist, anti-Jew, anti-black, anti-woman, anti-gay, anti-liberal. Again, it don't leave much left, man, except for white straight male. You haven't heard this before? You haven't seen where all these movements have ended up? Here's where it ended up, the last one. Ready? Russia, America, and Canada and Britain. Nazis are in the middle. That's what happened to the Nazis. It's going to happen again, except this time, the man gonna do it. And you gonna wish when the man does it, when he puts a stop to this, you gonna wish it was the Russians. You gonna wish it was the Americans. Believe me. One more time, I want to reiterate that list of feast days, of holidays that Donnie and the boys no longer want observed. One of them was Holocaust remembrance. Remember that. Again, all the Latin people that put their name on a white nationalist movement and made it happen. All the Jewish people that put their name on a white nationalist movement and helped make it happen. What happened to Never Again, Mr. Netanyahu? You're now in league with it. I don't understand. Again, it makes no logical sense. But here's the thing. Here's what it really comes down to. Too many human beings on this planet, and probably 99% of them, would be willing to work with the devil if it got them to the ends they were desiring. That's really what it comes down to, right? When right-wing Jewish people vote for their own demise, when right-wing Latin people vote for their own demise, and by their demise, I mean a white nationalist movement that hates their fucking guts. And if they had their way, they'd exterminate all those people that literally put their name on the white nationalist movement. The very targets of the white nationalist movement have made it happen. That's astounding to me. That's supernatural to me. That doesn't make logical sense. Again, the Klippensteins, they're getting all kind of good stuff lately, and I know their history. Believe me, I know their history better than you do. So please don't throw it at me. To comply with Trump's executive order on DEI, workers at NOAA have been instructed to deactivate specific agency materials containing the following keywords. I'm not going to read all of them. I'll read some of them. Ability, acceptance, access, affirmative, aggression, allyship, androgyny, asexual, belonging. Wow, such evil words. Belonging, affirmative, allyship. Wow, these are just dangerous phrases. You know, if you're like the Chinese government, or you're like the novel 1984 or something. Just so bias, binary, bisexual, black, culture. Wow, even the word black is prohibited. Wow. How many of you black people voted for this? Culture, DEIA, discrimination, diversity, EEO, empathy. That's just some, empathy's a bad word now. That's where we at, Rubes. As you go to church on Sunday and your pastor delivers that lovely sermon and says, vote your conscience. Well, your conscience and your party and your movement, empathy's a bad word. So how about when all you guys wake up and you really see the horrors of this and you pretend like you didn't make it happen, you didn't put your name on it, and you come to all of us. It's cool for me to not have empathy or sympathy or be able to empathize, right? Because you rubes will defend this to your dying breath. I know you. I know you would. This empathy is a bad thing. Because Donnie said it. And not a damn one of you can think for yourself. And I'm talking about the low-end rubes, not the elites that just want tax cuts and oligarchy. What else we got? Empowerment, equitable, fairness. That's bad. And then they have all this, the different type of homosexual, pansexual, LGBTQ is outlawed, intersex is outlawed, LGBTQ plus, LGBTQIA, all outlawed. Not allowed. Interim U.S. Attorney Ed Martin just announced the dismissal of roughly 30 federal prosecutors who worked on Capitol riot cases. Are you starting to see the pattern here? There's a reason why I picked all these different FAA people gotten rid of or resigning. Treasury people gotten rid of or resigning. U.S. attorneys gotten rid of or resigning. You're starting to see the pattern. Rubes. Dismantling and looting of everything. All your money. Oh, and they call this order the Defending Women Executive Order. Don't you love Nazi tactics, authoritarian tactics, where they title the bill that targets and persecutes people with the very title of the people they're persecuting. To comply with the Defending Women Executive Order, the Department of State is reviewing all agency programs, contracts, grants that promote or inculcate gender ideology, and we're removing outward-facing media that does the same. Bureaus have already been alerted to review trainings, forms, and plans that involve gender ideology. All employees are required to remove any gender-identifying pronouns from email signature blocks by 5 p.m. today. Hey, I guess a little Nazism, a few concentration camps, a little bit of abject evil is worth getting rid of these evil pronouns that people are using, right? Right, Rubes? Of course it is. Wait till it comes knocking on your door. And it's going to come to every single one of your doors. I promise you. I swear to you. And I'm the guy who predicts a lot of things that people think are absurd and just couldn't happen. Nikki says it, and then it happens. Again, that's not because I'm special. It's because I'm led a little bit. And I have a purpose here. And I'm going to fulfill that. And you guys are going to get real mad. All the way up to the tippy top of this. Because they all know what I am. And who I am. CDC data are disappearing. What's this? More disappearances? The agency has already removed scientific data from public view. More could follow. Oh, what is this? More things disappearing? Oh, is that the end? Is that all I got? Oh, no, there's more. Here it is. Last night, scientists began to hear cryptic and foreboding warnings from colleagues. Go to the CDC website and download your data now. That's in italics. They were all telling one another the same thing. Data on the website were about to disappear or be altered to comply with the Trump administration's ongoing attempt to scrub federal agencies of any mention of gender, DEI, accessibility. I was up until 2 a.m. Angela Rasmussen, a virologist at the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization at the University of Saskatchewan, who relies on CDC's data to track viral outbreaks, told me she archived whatever she could. CDC data disappearing, pulling out of the WHO, telling the agencies in the United States that they are not allowed to communicate viral outbreaks warnings to the public. Do you see where this is going? Do you see the patterns? J6 cases being erased. That's cool with you, Rubes, right? Because it's your team's guilt being erased, right? Maybe when they come for you, will you be cool with them erasing that from the history books? I bet you wouldn't be. But you cool with this for now. You cool with our flight industry being fucked on week 2 of these cunts' reign. CDC being fucked. Data, important data. 2 million workers being fired. I bet it wouldn't be cool if it was your job on the line. I guarantee some of you government people voted for this. How's it looking to you now? Not so good, right? I guess all those people warning you over the years weren't tricksters, and they knew more, and they were way more wise than you. As you're staring at Leon's generosity on your screen about, hey, you can take that vacation you've always been wanting to take. And hey, forget about the fact you have to find a whole new career in a country that don't want to hire a nobody for some real money. Unless you win the club. Then you write in. What they feared quickly came to pass. Already, content from the CDC's Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System, which includes data from a national survey, has disappeared. So have parts of the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry Social Vulnerability Index and the Environmental Justice Index. The CDC's landing page for HIV data has also vanished. Vanished, you say? Kind of like the novel 1984. I won't even break it down because it's too late anyway. Why bother? Here's a breakdown by this person of what's been going on. 120, that's January 20. FAA director fired. 121, air traffic controller hiring freeze. 122, aviation safety committee disbanded. 128, buyout retire demand sent to FAA employees. 129, first U.S. mid-air collision in 16 years. Think there may be a correlation there? Well, I guess we'll see if there's a bunch more plane crashes. I guess we'll see the damage. That's a lot of activity, all directed at an agency, all because they fined Leon 600 G's, the richest man on the planet. He got a grudge about that. That's why you, the sad little rube that helped make this happen, the next time you get on a plane, you get to think about all this. You get to shake. You get to white knuckle it. Thanks to Leon. But you all were perfectly willing to work with the Satanist, globalist, oligarch as long as it got you where you needed to be, as long as it got your Buffalo Bills that win. Gonna cost you everything, son. Everything. Trump officials just forced out all 6 of the FBI's most senior executives and multiple heads of field offices, including the DC field office, which was involved in the Trump prosecutions. And that's the end. And there's a million other things I could talk about, and this is just a day and a half's worth. Well done, Rubes. Well bloody done. This experiment that's gone on for a few hundred years called America. The place that had the ability, if some evil fuck was, doing something horrible in the world, we had the ability to go handle that. We are the modern empire. And the entire empire was tricked into handing it over. Not the entire, but 40%, let's call it that. The rubery, the elites, the greedy, the stupid, the racist, the ignorant. People that are just like Donnie. They said to themselves, yeah, I got no problem working with that oligarch, the type of person we warned everybody about. The evil globalist cabal full of Satanists. But they all had to be liberal, right, Rubes? They had to be. Because that's what I was told by my church leaders, by the right-wing grift/terror machine, by the Tea Party. by the constitutionalists. They all said it. Cernovich, Alex Jones, thousands of others for 20 years, 30 years. It was said so many times online that Jesus was a capitalist who sold t-shirts, who hates immigrants and would never help the poor and would never want anyone to get free health care. And who loves white supremacy. And who hates liberals, gays, socialists, communists, black people, Jews, etc. That's American Jesus. That's Rube Jesus. That's Rubery Jesus. That's what you cunts put forth on a daily basis as you go to church and you think you're a good person when you ain't jack shit, son. You a threat to your children. You a threat to your fellow citizens. You a threat to your fellow man. You a threat to national security. And you've handed your children's country, because fuck you people, over. And our country, over. Not yours, because you just fucking traitors. Handed it over for nothing, as if it were nothing, to a fucking bald ex-KGB agent who felt like he was slighted in this world because he was a runt. And you handed it over to all his oligarch buddies. And you and the elites of this country, the high level, the CEOs, all the wise people, in quotes, just gave it right over in hopes of money, hand over fist, more power, or to just save your kingdom. Look at you all now paying tribute like good little dogs. When you used to think you were all powerful. Look at Zuckerberg with the gas face. You know why Zuckerberg has the gas face? He has that because he's a child. He's a little scared little boy trying to hold on to the shards of his kingdom. As Donnie and Leon take it away. And that could happen to any one of you guys. Even the god of the internet, Google, who Vlad just straight up said, yeah, I need 100 million for my propaganda machine. And I know I've paid you guys hundreds of millions of dollars the past 20 years to put my propaganda out. I want my money back now. I'm just going to take it. Sorry, Google. Fuck off. Thanks for being a good soldier. And they still being good soldiers. They still got Tim Pool. They still taking the Russian money. They love it. Their website be half the size without it. So would Meta, so would Instagram, so would Twitter. All you people just handed it right on over. And I know, I work so many places. I've come across so many humans that want to teach me something. That think they have wisdom. There's about 5 people on the planet that have wisdom, son. 5. And know where this is going. That's all I see. I see children running to and fro. That's why I talk to you like children. Because only a fucking child, a stupid, ignorant, fucking child would give their nation away to the enemy to own the libs. We gonna see who gets owned. It ain't just gonna be the libs, son. And I have a feeling it's going to be a lot more than 2 people going into that lake. Take it as a joke. See the horrors every day and try and justify them, rationalize them, talk them up. Guess where it's going to end up? With you standing on the edge of the lake in front of us all, weeping, because it's too late. All this you see around you, over, done. It'll all be in flames. DC even. And they're going to cry, the merchants of the world. Babylon, that great city, it's fallen. It's in ruin. What are we going to do? Let the rocks fall upon us, that we don't have to face the wrath of God and see his face. We'd rather the rocks in our mountain fortresses fall on our heads than face the wrath of God. That's what you gonna say out loud. Guess what else? You're gonna beg for death, and it will be withheld. That's just some of the fun details of where this is all going, where Rubery is taking us and is going to take us, inspired of Satan. And there's only one place it's all going to end up, for people that put their name on this at one last time. It's going to end up lakeside, of course. Leon knows this. Donnie knows this. Their daddy knows it, because he going in too. He just going in a tiny bit later than the other two. But just like a 3-year-old, just like a 5-year-old, just like you Rubes, the mentality is, I can beat up my daddy at age 5. Because I'm a mad little child. And I want to lash out. So I don't want to hear the wisdom that comes from my father. I want to be king. And I think I can win. The 5-year-old who thinks he can beat up his father. That's you. That's MAGA. That's Satan, son. Well done, Rubes. Until the next episode, have a lovely evening.